help people decide what plastic surgeon is right for them for their procedures that they want to get done. A heavy-set child ran over my pinky and it exploded. We all have like the same trauma. Like we were all f***ed up the same way from our parents. Like it's not like they decided to do it different halfway through. When I found out that my dog had cancer, so I took her to Europe to let her travel around before I had to put her down. Once you start getting revisions with your nose, you end up building up a lot of scar tissue and you end up losing a lot of cartilage. So then they end up having to go to your ear or even your rib to get cartilage to rebuild your nose to make it so that it's even close to what if you would have just gone to the right surgeon the first time you would have had. He was like, "We should date." And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Yeah, we'd be good." And I was like, "No." I was just very bold at making ridiculous requests. And then he's like, "Okay, 10,000. And I was like, "That's all?" And then he's like, "Oh, okay, fine, 15. But like, that's it." And I was like, "Okay."
Do you tend to only date rich guys?
No, I've dated poor guys before. The only thing that they really have to offer is that they're nice to look at. They're not even that good in bed. So then it's like, what good are you?
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us and hope you continue to be part of our family for the foreseeable future. And if so, please hit that subscribe button. I am Mohammed Malay here with the incredible Rachel. Welcome. How's it going?
Amazing.
Please introduce yourself, where you're from, how old you are, what you do, so on and so forth.
How old I am? My real age?
Yeah.
My name is Rachel Clugston. I'm originally from a super teeny tiny town that is about an hour south of Buffalo, New York. I've lived out here 12 years now. I'm 33 and I am living my best life as a stay-at-home girlfriend and trying to start my own business.
Stay-at-home girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like a stay-at-home mom, but you don't have to pop children out to do it.
So then you take care of your boyfriend instead of children.
Yeah.
That sounded like you don't really take care of your boyfriend. Your boyfriend takes care of you instead.
Yeah, he spoils me.
So essentially, you're a sugar baby, but a girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm not a sugar baby because he's attractive. So I think if you're a sugar baby, you're like sacrificing things that you would actually want in your dating life. So, I mean, I just got lucky and hit the jackpot.
So you're attracted to your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Actual relationship.
Yeah.
And then he just takes care of you and you don't have to do anything.
Living the life.
Living the life.
No, I mean, it's not, I don't have to do anything. It's just, I get to focus on what I really want to do. And
which is?
So I'm starting a consulting business where I help people decide what plastic surgeon is right for them for their procedures that they want to get done.
Okay. How did you come about doing that?
So I used to run a plastic surgeon's office on Rodeo. And I would sit in the room with all the surgeons that worked in the office and listen to people come in for their consultations. And after the doctors would give their spiel about whatever procedure it is that they came in for, they would ask the patients, "Do you have any questions?" And more likely than not, the patients would say no, because they just didn't know what questions to ask.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And then because they wouldn't ask any questions, it's like you're just kind of hoping that the doctor can read your mind and then give you the outcome that you're looking for.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to start a business where I help people realize what questions they need to ask in order to find the right surgeon for them. Because some people just want the cookie cutter, like look like Kim K look. And then some people still want to look natural. They just don't like certain little aspects that their mom and dad gave to them.
So what's an example of that? Like a client that would come to you and say what?
Okay, so if somebody's like, I want a nose job, then I would ask if they've already been on consultations, if they've already seen surgeons, if they, like a surgeon's work that they've seen on Instagram. And if they say that they have no idea, then I would ask if they wanted like an extreme nose job change or if they just want tiny little touch-ups. And then depending on what they would say with that, I would look for a facial plastic surgeon instead of just an overall general plastic surgeon. And usually general plastic surgeons are plastic surgeons that do body work. And a lot of people one of their first procedures that they get done is their boobs. And then they are happy with their boob job and then they trust that surgeon. So then they go back to him and they get their nose done. But that surgeon isn't a facial plastic surgeon. And that surgeon also doesn't do a lot of nose jobs. So then they end up not getting the results that they want. They end up getting like a bad nose job and then they end up having to go somewhere else to get a revision. And once you start getting revisions with your nose, you end up building up a lot of scar tissue and you end up losing a lot of cartilage. So then they end up having to go to your ear or even your rib to get cartilage to rebuild your nose to make it so that it's even close to what if you would have just gone to the right surgeon the first time, you would have had.
Okay, so what if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to look better. I don't know what I need to do. Is that like too general?
Yeah, I mean, so because I am not a doctor, I can't recommend procedures to patients. There's like ethical lines that I still have to
abide by
for legalities of like I can't give medical advice. Like I can be like, hey, I'm gonna be like your bestie and come to consultations with you and advocate for you for what questions to ask so that you can figure out which surgeon would be the best for you, or to make sure that this surgeon that you're so in love with their before and afters that they post on Instagram, if that's even something that they can give to you, or if their before and afters are photoshopped, or if they're just really selective about what before and afters they even post on their social media.
Right. So is it just surgeries, or would it also be like getting your lips done and like Botox and stuff like that?
So if
or those are not as serious.
So getting your lips done, it's just not, I don't know, maybe this is where I'm a little bratty. Like it's just not as big of a procedure. It's reversible. You can get an injectable done, and then if you don't like it, you can go and get it dissolved. Right. So it's kind of temporary.
Not too serious,
yeah, and it's a lot lower of an expense than surgery.
Right. So not really worth the trouble for you.
I mean, if somebody wanted to hire me to help them find somebody that would do the perfect lip injection on them, then I'd be more than willing to do that. It's just the amount that they would pay for the knowledge that I could give them versus them just going and getting their lips done somewhere
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Very interesting. So then what's the goal as far as getting this off the ground?
So right now I'm still working on my website, and then after I build that, then I'm going to start recording videos to push on social media. I already have one of my clients that I helped. She recorded a video what's it called?
TikTok?
Testimonial. No.
Oh.
She recorded a video testimonial saying how I helped her and showing her before and afters and everything that I did that made her make the decision that she made.
Yeah.
So I'm going to clean that up a bit and then post it on my website so then people can see like that I'm not just saying that I can do this service, that I actually can do it and give people results that they want.
Got it. Very interesting stuff. Well, good for you. So you said you're 33.
Yeah.
And your boyfriend is how old?
45.
45. How long have you guys been dating?
I don't know. We don't ever really know how to answer this question because it's like, when do you count? Like, we made our anniversary like when I moved in with him, but we were obviously dating before I moved in with him.
Yes.
So I don't know.
It would be when you guys met. That's how long you've been dating.
No, because I met him like 9 or 10 years ago.
So that's how long you've been. Well, I mean,
You know,
unless you had no attraction for each other and you didn't start actually like hanging out.
No, it was like super friend when we met.
So okay, so you were
Like
friends for a while.
9 or 10 years ago.
You met 9 or 10 years ago. You were friends.
It was just like cordial, and then he had a girlfriend at the time. I was breaking hearts. We were just on 2 different trajectories. And then
why do I have a feeling that you guys hooked up when you guys met?
No.
You didn't?
No,
Okay.
no, we didn't. No. Oh my gosh. No, he's such a good guy.
Got it.
He had a girlfriend.
He
honestly wouldn't. He's
Got it.
perfection.
Well, that's good.
And then I'm pretty sure after that girlfriend, then he started dating another woman, got married to her, had a kid, got divorced. And then during their separation, we ended up coming back into one another's lives to try to figure out this a creative project that he had going on. And then during that, because we were hanging out a lot, he was like, hey, I think we should date. And I was like,
okay, how long ago was that?
That was a little over a year ago.
Okay, got it.
But he was like, we should date. And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, we'd be good. And I was like, no. And then I like jokingly told my younger sister who had met him, and she was like, oh, he's so great. He's amazing. He's such a nice guy. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I can't be with a guy that's nice. Like, what? And she's like, no, he's so sweet. And I was like, no. And then my sister's voice started getting in my head, and I was like, can I be with a nice guy? Like, should I be with a guy that could actually treat me right? So then I was like, fine. Like, I'll give him a shot. And then I was like, he's amazing.
Would you argue that the only reason why you actually decided to date a nice guy is because you're getting older? That you in your 20s would have never done it?
No, because me in my 20s did date a guy specifically because he was nice. And then I would say that I wrecked him. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
What would your friends say is the most toxic trait about you?
Right now, well, I've been to therapy, so I'm pretty good right now. I don't know that I really have a toxic trait anymore.
But you used to.
Yeah. I used to, okay, so it's like, it depends who you are in the situation. So I used to just think that if you ask for something, it's up to that person to tell you no. But a lot of guys, especially if you're dating somebody that's not quite in your league, they don't know how to say no to you, because then they think if they tell you no that you're going to be like, peace out. So then they just kind of say yes to all your requests. So I was just very bold at making ridiculous requests.
What's the most ridiculous request you've made? Or you could just say, so what are some of these requests?
My most ridiculous request was probably when a guy told me that he was going to take me shopping on Rodeo. And then I was like, okay, what's the budget? And he was like, $5,000. And I was like, oh, that's it? And he's like, oh, fine, hold on, give me a minute. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, okay, $10,000. And I was like, that's all? And then he's like, oh, okay, fine, 15, but like, that's it. And I was like, okay. And then we went shopping, and then I was like, oh, but like, I didn't get this. And he's like, oh, fine, let's go. And I was like, thank you. Which, like, I don't know, is it my fault? He didn't know how to say no.
How much did you end up shopping?
How many what?
How much did you end up shopping for?
Well, that day, probably just over 15. That day. Oops.
Do you tend to only date rich guys?
No. I've dated poor guys before. See, here's my problem with the poor guys that I've dated is the only thing that they really have to offer is that they're nice to look at. They're not even that good in bed. So then it's like, what good are you?
So then the alternative is somebody who is good in bed and also has money.
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing too, is most of the guys that I've slept with aren't good in bed. So the money at least makes up for the not good in bed.
Okay, so we've established you pretty much care more about money than you do for the sexual performance and the way that the person looks.
No, I mean, my current boyfriend has it all. He's
yes,
great.
But
He's like,
sure, but if you had to pick, it's money number 1, sexual performance number 2, and then how they look number 3. No.
No.
Or would it be sexual performance number 1, money number 2, appearance number 3?
No, it would probably be money, appearance, and then sex. Because I've just had so much bad sex that it's just kind of it's more of an expectation that it's going to be bad. So then I'd like them to at least be attractive, so then I can make it appear like I enjoyed the sex with them.
What's good sex?
Actually having a climax during.
So making you come, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and most guys don't.
Yeah, no.
Okay, and okay, you don't have to talk about this obviously if you don't want to. But how does one make you come?
I mean, there's several different ways. It's just.
But you know how to make yourself come.
Yeah.
Okay, so then do you tell these guys, hey, this is how you make me come? And they just don't know how to, or like they don't do it.
Yeah, or they don't care, or they will just, like, they'll come so fast that they'll be like, it's
over.
And I'm like, cool.
Uh-huh.
Great. Let's figure out what we're going to do for dinner. Like, I don't know.
Got it. So it's interesting to me because the obviously the guy you're with now has all of those things that you just, described.
Mm-hmm.
How many people did you date before?
I mean, official, like,
Long
boyfriend?
term, I would say, yeah.
I've only had one previous boyfriend.
That was long term?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've been single for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Until I started dating this guy. And then I was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Okay. And then these guys that you've sort of just like dated that weren't exclusively in a relationship with would just like take you shopping?
No, not all of them.
Some of them.
Yeah.
More likely than not.
No. Like, I had some guys that were just like really, really nice to look at.
Uh-huh.
But then didn't really turn into anything because that's obviously not sustainable.
Uh-huh.
And then there was one guy that was good in bed and had like good conversation, but he didn't want anything relationship wise. But when we started things, I also didn't want anything relationship wise. So then
it just didn't go anywhere. Yeah.
It worked. But then as soon as I was like, okay, I think I want something more, like I just had to realize that
wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Like that wasn't going to be my something more.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as rebellious?
I think when I was younger, I was a lot more rebellious than I am now. Like, I think now I'm just trying to
settle down.
Not settle down, just like ruffling feathers is just so much energy now. Like, I'm too tired.
Do you have fun with ruffling feathers?
Not as much as I used to. I don't know. Like it just doesn't bring me joy to upset somebody like it used to.
It used to bring you joy to upset someone.
No, just to like, I guess, prove somebody wrong in a situation or like call them out for being rude or, whatever it might be. But now it's just like, I'll let them
figure it out on their own.
Live in their dumb, oblivious world and just move on with my life. Because giving them the energy to try to correct them and basically parent them on how they should be existing in the world it's too much.
Oh, you said you've been going to therapy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I mean, it was like a mix of things. I think when I turned 30, I was like, okay, I want to be able to have a serious relationship. But in order to have a serious relationship, I obviously need to figure out how to have a healthy, serious relationship and how to set proper boundaries and how to ask for a healthy relationship and then how to give a healthy relationship. So there was just a lot of work that I needed to do on myself in order to even expect somebody to treat me the way that I wanted to be treated in a relationship. And then I also, my boss at the plastic surgeon's office that I worked at died of COVID. So then that was like a lot to process. So then,
Why was that a lot to process?
Because I ran the office, so I was there all the time. And then when I wasn't there, my brain was thinking about how to make the business make more money so that I could make more money. So I was just constantly texting him and just talking to him about everything, like, and spending all my time there. So he kind of just became one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So then I lost like my best friend, my boss, my job, like everything all at once.
Oh, wow.
And then I also lost my support group of all of my friends at the office because everyone lost their jobs. So then we all had to go our separate ways.
Right.
So then it was just so much
change all at once.
Yeah. And like his death was like very sudden and just like, I don't know, like there wasn't really a way to like plan for it. And
sure.
Yeah, so it was just a lot.
Understandable. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I'd want to be taller.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, I just think it would make booking modeling gigs a lot easier. You know?
Is that what you're interested in?
No, I mean, I do it more or less as a hobby, and then sometimes I'm able to like book gigs that actually pay. But when I show up to things that I book based off of like my portfolio or other things that I've worked on, people will be like, "Oh, you're short," and I'm like, "But I look tall in photos, so like, but I don't know. I guess it's just always been like this complex that I've had. Like I'm like the Napoleon complex now.
Interesting.
I don't know. I've looked into the surgery where they like break your shins and your femur and put the extenders in. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it for how much it costs. And then,
well, not just that, the recovery, and also the fact that you're not going to be able to do anything in your life ever again.
In your life ever again? What do you mean?
Active. You can't do anything active again.
Like I'm playing professional sports out here or something?
I mean, I play recreational ones, so, you know.
Okay. Well,
or
I guess so.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, it's just like if you have hobbies that you do, like, you know, I play football, not American football, the actual football, and, you know, snowboard, and like play tennis, or just work out on a regular basis, run. You know, you just can't do these things anymore.
I mean, I don't think that you just can't do those things. It's not like...
No, you can't.
You can't?
You cannot.
Oh, says who?
The doctors.
The doctors say you can never run again. You will have legs. Do not run.
No, that they say that you wouldn't be able to run as a sport. Like if you're trying to, you could probably jog, but you wouldn't be able to run sprint.
So I'll never make the Olympics.
I don't think those are the same thing. Being able to run and going to the Olympics aren't the same thing at all. I just would like to be able to sprint and run.
Like how serious of a run? Like doing a charity 5K, or like just going for a jog on the street? Like what?
A jog would be like what? Like 3 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, like a 3-mile run.
Sure, but how fast are you running? A jog to me is
I don't know,
like 3 to 4 miles per hour. That's a jog.
Like what's on the treadmill? 7 speed? How fast is that?
Huh?
When you put the treadmill up to 7.
That's 7 miles per hour.
Nuh-uh. Really?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
That's what that speed is.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
All right. At that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to run at 7 miles per hour.
No?
No. Because that's too fast.
I've not heard any of this before.
Well, you should look into it. And it's just like for like an inch or 2 inches, it's just not worth it.
Well, I mean, it would be 4. You do 2 in your shins and 2 in your femur.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't be able to do shit. Yeah. So.
I'm just saying, I've looked into it and I don't know if it's really worth it.
Yeah, no, it's not. But hey, you know, you never know. Maybe technology in the next 20 years gets to a place where you could just naturally grow.
I'm sure in 20 years, when I'm 53, I'll be like, it is what it is. Like, I'm sure I'll come to terms with it.
Well, I don't know. It seems like you're dating somebody who's rich. So, you know, you would be able to have access to technology to reverse aging or slow down aging at least.
I've spoke to him about the leg lengthening surgery, and he thinks it's silly.
Sure.
But also, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I wear high heels.
Right. It's a lot easier for women than it is for men.
Yeah.
Especially because men don't particularly care about women's height as much as women care about men's height.
Yeah, it's really weird how, like, somehow society has, like, brainwashed all the women to, like, really care about height.
I don't think it's a societal thing. I think it's biological.
In what way?
Women in general tend to look up to men. So by that theory, you tend to become more attractive to somebody you could look up to as opposed to look down on.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah. So naturally the attraction would just exist within you by wanting to be with somebody who's taller than you. But then the specific height levels, that's where it gets tricky when it comes to societal norms and what society teaches you, because then now you're kind of like, for example, when women are like, oh, I don't date anybody who's under 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know, that's ridiculous to me. That's just like, sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like 5'2", you know?
Yeah. I've never thought about it from like a looking up standpoint. I always just thought, because so when I was in first grade, you know those little scooters that you sit on? The square ones. Did you have those?
No, what is
in
that?
gym class?
Oh. They're scooters?
I mean, they're called scooters. I don't know what else to call them. They're like a square that has 4 wheels. And you sit on them, crisscross applesauce, and you put your hands on the floor and you push yourself.
Oh, yeah. They're like a whatchamacallit. Skipping the name. Yeah, continue.
Okay. So when I was in first grade, we were doing a relay race with those. And I was just scooting along, you know, for lack of whatever you think that this is called, not a scooter. So I was just pushing myself, and a heavy set child ran over my pinky and it exploded.
A fat kid ran over your pinky.
Yeah. And my gym teacher, that was like a tall man, came and scooped me up and brought me to the nurses, and I was like gushing blood and crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, he saved me. So then I always just thought, because I had this like damsel in distress, like being saved moment, that then that's what I was like trying to find in a partner again, was like somebody that would give me that.
somebody who would save you.
Well, no, not somebody that would save me, but somebody that like looked like him as he was like running up to me and like scooping me up and carrying me. And like, how's a guy that's like 5'2" going to scoop me up and carry me somewhere?
Well, I mean, that sure. Yes. But you're sort of equating that to strength and power, right? And you want somebody who has strength and is powerful, well, naturally.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like for me, I want somebody who I could save because I have a savior's complex. Right.
Okay. Very self-aware of you.
Right. So like it, but once you recognize these patterns of like why you're the way you are, why you feel this way, then you could obviously work on it. But majority of the time people don't know.
Yeah. So
they're just attracted to something as a result of their what would be considered their biological way of being. You know, which then kind of goes back to the conversation that I had on another podcast with regards to nature versus nurture and which one tends to be at times more dominant in how you're brought up or the person that you become ultimately.
Have you ever heard about the theory that where are you listening? Okay. Have you ever heard about the theory that whatever experiences your dad had while you were a sperm inside of him is somehow embedded in you, and whatever experiences your grandma had while she was alive, because every
Which
woman,
one?
Your mom's mom, because every woman is born with all of her eggs. So then your grandma had your mom's egg inside of her while she was like living life. So then your mom had you inside of her while she was living life. So then all of your like grandma's experiences and all of your father's experiences and all of your mom's experiences are somehow like embedded deep inside of you. So all of their traumas and things that they like learned survival wise are within you naturally.
Obviously, to some extent, there are similarities between the child and their parents and their grandparents or so on and so forth. You know, their family members, extended family members too. But that doesn't particularly...
It's just like the survival traumas. So it's not like, I don't know, like, oh, they got picked on in school and then cried, and now that name that they were called triggers you and you can't figure out why. Like, that triggers you. Like, it's not like that. It's just like, oh, they almost like drowned when they were a kid, and then like now you have like this uneasy feeling around like open water or something, and you can't, you know, like more things like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't particularly agree. Just because my grandmother had a lot of trauma, childhood trauma. My mom also had some, and my dad probably not as much, or any, I would argue. But yeah, it came out pretty well. So
like, I'm not saying that you would be like
I'm just saying, like, when I think about their traumas,
unable to function in society.
I mean, one could argue that, how they also dealt with trauma could have, been embedded within my DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there is, there's this selective process that happens when the sperm and the egg intertwine, right? But you can't really explain it, just like you can't really explain a lot of other things. Now anybody could say that, because the reality of it is like, do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're a completely different person than probably your sister and your brother.
So there's 4 of us. Mm-hmm. I'm the second one. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of similarities to the 4th one. Mm. And then the 1st and the 3rd have a lot of similarities to one another. Mm. And we're pretty spaced out. So the 3rd one and the 1st one didn't really grow up together. Mm. So the fact that they're so similar is just kind of like
interesting.
Yeah.
But then also the fact that the first one and the second one are so different is also interesting.
Yeah.
And the fact that there is another one of you is crazy to me. But that's just but hey. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really explain these phenomenons. It's like it. And that's why the argument when it comes to nature and nurture, to me, it always makes me lean more towards nature as opposed to nurture.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would totally think that nurture is going to like trump everything.
But if that were the case, then all your siblings would have had to been the same.
Well, yeah, no, we all have like the same trauma. Like, we were all fucked up the same way from our parents. Like, it's not like they decided to do it different halfway through.
Sure, but that would be as a result of nature, right? But when it comes to nurture, right, the part how you deal with them and how you guys individually have dealt with them. That would be as a part of nurture, but how you would deal with them would be as a result of nature.
Deal with what?
The trauma.
Oh, no, we've all decided to process it differently.
Right, but that's precisely my point. That the trauma itself, right, was nurture.
Yeah.
How you each individually dealt with it is nature.
I'm not sure how that's nature and not how we've decided to nurture ourselves.
It's because of your nature. What do you mean nurture yourself would be, if you're nurturing yourself, it's because of your nature. Otherwise, how are you nurturing yourself? If you're nurturing yourself and nobody else is nurturing you, that would be as a result of your nature. Where would you get this information from?
The internet. It's not like I live under a rock and I've just been like, I'm going to therapize myself.
Yes, but being receptive to information and how you process it is as a result of nature, not nurture, because that's where the difference comes. You both would get the same information, but the way you would deal with that information is as a result of nature. Does that make sense? How would you describe nature? What would be nature to you?
Something that's like DNA built into you.
Exactly. So a good example of that would be when somebody yells at you. What do you do?
I mean, It depends who it is.
Sure, but
if they're yelling at me,
yeah, what's your instinctive response?
I find it funny to straight face them and then talk really quiet and calm to them because it pisses them off more.
Okay, that's nature, right? It's like you have this your default mode goes into wanting to make them look like an idiot, right? But I would argue that, for example, the first child, your first sibling, right, has a completely different reaction to it.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody were to yell at her, she would just listen. And I don't know. Like, she definitely wouldn't yell back or escalate anything. I think that she would just try to have it be done as soon as possible.
Okay. So you have both received the same amount of information in your life from your parents, for example, and from the internet, as you say. But your reaction to a very simple issue is completely different. This was obviously a very small example. It happens a lot. A lot of different cases as well. Me and my brother were raised by the same parents. We're a year and a half apart, so it wasn't really like that different.
Yeah.
And we were given the same exact information. We were treated the exact same way. But we're completely two different people. His receptiveness to a certain amount of information and how he accepted that information and how he worked with that information is completely different than how I dealt with it. And your outlook on the world is completely different. Even though you're getting the same amount and exact amount of information.
But I don't know that you were necessarily treated the exact same, though. Because are you the older or the younger one?
Older.
Okay, so you being the older one, I'm sure you were babied less and he was babied slightly more. So then that's given like ever so slightly different care. And then it makes one of you act out more or less to receive more or less of this like babying attention.
That would be accurate if you would argue that every single child who is the oldest is always the more responsible. In reality, that's not the case. And, majority of the time what ends up happening is the way that you're brought up, especially when it comes to same ages or close in ages, doesn't end up being that different unless something drastic happens. But even in cases that are very drastic, and if you look at like people who have dealt with a lot of trauma or people who have been brought up in, single parent families or, orphanages or whatever the case is, some of these people that come out are very resilient towards pain and hardship. And some people are not. Some people are broken down and just, get destroyed and can't really do anything with their life. And so you could, and the reality of it is you could put two people in the same exact situation. And as a result of their nature, they just come out completely different. There's something with regards to selective hearing, selective eyesight, selective thought. I could tell you the same exact sentence, and I could tell somebody else the same exact sentence. And it's like the telephone game that people play, right? Mm-hmm. They would hear the same exact thing, but what they would remember is completely different, right? And that's as a result of nature and nurture. However, in general, most of the time you're more affected by your default mode in your DNA than you are by how you were affected in society throughout time. Now, obviously, what I argue now, is these are, this particular subject has been argued, by many different theories. So nobody's really able to prove any of it.
Yeah.
Either way, you can't really push for one way or another regardless. So, and most of the time what we argue is based upon our own experiences, or our biases are mostly based upon our own experiences, as than they are based on the data. But the data even isn't really that accurate anyway. So at the end of the day, all it comes down to is how you perceive the world.
Well, yeah, but also the data is usually collected to push whatever theory that person that's collecting and giving you the data is trying to prove.
Well, that's assuming that everybody has an agenda, but sometimes people don't.
Why are you doing a study on it if you don't have an agenda about it?
I would argue not everybody wants to prove one way or another. Some scientists just want to look at the data and see what it gives them, as opposed to have a preconceived notion towards a certain theory.
Plausible.
It very much is. What's the wildest thing you've ever done?
Probably when I found out that my dog had cancer, so I took her to Europe to let her travel around before I had to put her down.
Well, the question wasn't what was the most insane thing you've ever done. The question was what was the wildest thing you've ever done. But hey, how much did that cost?
Not that much. Maybe like 5,000. We were over there for 2 months. I think my bills in LA, like my car payment, my apartment, and just my possessions existing in LA cost more than us traveling around.
Sure. So was he happy?
She. Yes. So happy. And then every time we would go to a new country, people would come up to her in whatever language they spoke and say things to her. And I'd be like, I have no idea what you're saying, but she's so sweet. So if you want, you can pet her. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. And then they would pet her, and then they would say things in their language to her, and her little tail would be like tick, 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 tick.
Well, that's nice.
It was super cute.
Good for you. And wildest thing?
Give me an example of wild.
I don't know. Let's say you take a guy to take you shopping and to convince him to make you, give you $15,000 worth of gifts. I feel like there are things you don't want to say.
No, I don't know that I don't.
What is the wildest thing you want to do? I mean, is there anything that you want to do?
I don't know that wild is really
the right word.
Yeah.
What you choose a word.
What's your question? I don't know.
Well, the question really is the most exciting thing.
Exciting.
That would sort of be synonym to wild, I suppose. Was there anything that you want to do on your bucket list? Do you have a bucket list?
No, I don't have a bucket list, mostly because I feel like it's a bad omen to have a bucket list. Because if you have a list of things that you want to do before you die, what happens if you finish all those things? Then you just die?
You just pick out new things.
I don't know. I just feel like it's bad juju. You know?
Where you just get the stuff done and you're like, oh, wow, I did everything that I always wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'll like be like, oh, I want to do that. And then I just go and do it. I don't need like a wish list of things. It's just.
What was it you wanted to do latest and you just went and did it?
I really wanted to go to Asia,
Uh-huh.
and my boyfriend and I just went to Thailand. So
You just one day woke up and were like, I really want to go to Asia. You know, I just saw this thing on Instagram. And then you're like, okay, here's the ticket. Let's go.
No, I had like mentioned to him about how I had gone all over Europe, and I want to expand outside of that. But all of my European travels were solo, and I
wanted to travel with a partner.
No, I just had and I might be wrong, but I just had a feeling that traveling outside of Europe as a small, dainty female by myself just wouldn't be the most wise decision. So then, now that I have a boyfriend, I was like, now I can do things that I couldn't feel comfortable doing by myself.
Sure.
So I was like, I want to go to Asia. And then
like pass through gang territory just because.
Yeah. Just because, when you have a guy with you, like really live life to the fullest.
Exactly.
I don't know. So his ex-wife asked if she could take their daughter to France for the holidays. And he was like, perfect. Now we can go and travel. And I was like, win-win.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Nice. Final question. Is the green bubble a red flag?
The green bubble?
Yeah, when you get a text and it's green.
I don't know. I'm going to say no. I think if I was younger, I'd be like, yes, oh my gosh, gross, you don't have an iPhone. But now that I'm older, I don't think buying the latest iPhone is really that important.
Yeah. So as you grow up, you become more mature. You realize that it's all bullshit and that doesn't matter. And, when you were younger, you were brainwashed by the marketing team of Apple.
Well, I also think when I was younger, I was so avoidant attached that finding any reason to not have a serious relationship with somebody was ideal for me.
Right.
So if I could blame green bubble on why our relationship would never work, that was just like ideal for where I was emotionally.
Right. Well, glad you've matured up.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Thanks for watching.